afternoon, evening, wherever you're watching from. My name is Jack James, and you're watching Velocity Online Racing's coverage of Round 5, Season 29 for the International IndyCar League, coming to you live from none other than Texas Motor Speedway for an action-packed 190 miles of racing ahead of us this evening. Joining me in the commentary booth alongside me this afternoon is none other than Sebastian Kinder. Current track conditions out there at the moment, standing at 20 degrees for the surface and about 20 degrees as well in the ambient temperature. As I said before, 127 laps, 190 miles, a shorter race compared to what some of these drivers are used to. Seb, how do you think that will play out in today's race?
Well, it's going, I think, to be a pack race because Texas in iRacing with this car, you don't have all the PJ1 and resin that they usually put in real life, so the grip will be actually good. It's pretty cool out there, so not a lot to work for the tires. So yeah, pack racing, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, well, that being said, pack racing seems to be a run-of-the-mill here at the IndyCar League at the moment. Last time out, the drivers were at Auto Club Raceway, and we, I believe, have a small little recap for you of what happened there. So, first of all, Roden Eftink and Matthias Strauss on the front row. First career pole, we believe, for Roden in this series, as he took us to the green flag. Unfortunately, an incident on lap 20 for Danny Alt. No yellow. Spun and crashed into the pit wall, as you see on screen now. Unfortunately for him, that was race ending. First and only caution, though, was out on lap number 78, courtesy of Aman Lau, who spun in turn 4, bringing out the yellow flag. Unfortunately, not the first time he's done that this season. Hopefully today he can sort of beat the demons and get out okay. Final shootout for the win was restarted with 13 laps to go, involving the usual suspects of the likes of Roden Eftink and others. A swarm of cars coming to the line, but unfortunately for the rest, Roden Eftink took the win from pole. The run to the line from Strauss, Strid, Marcamini and Lowe. The rough highlights for this race was about 29 lead changes and the only caution. But today, I don't know, we could see some more cautions coming our way, as I believe, doing my research before this event, it is the first time that this series has gone to the newer scan of Texas Motor Speedway. Every single season before this has been on the old legacy layout, so hopefully we'll see some good action and some more close racing. Although the most successful driver that has raced in the IndyCar League around this circuit, albeit on the legacy layout, has been Graham Bunyan. I don't believe he's with us tonight, but he has 5 wins on the legacy layout, one off of the well-known driver Scott Dixon from the real-life IndyCar racing series, and it is unfortunate that Graham won't be with us tonight to try and equal that real-life 2-sim record. So we follow the Roden Eftink in the number 18 out on track at the moment, finishing up the qualifying results. We've got about 1 minute and 40 seconds or so in the qualifying session left to go. So while that's sort of going on and we've got drivers coming to the green flag to start runs, finish runs, I thought I would take you through the rough rules and regs of today's racing so you have a rough idea of what is going to be going on out there. So in terms of the hybrid, the drivers will have 0.5 regen rate. So that's half of the full regen rate that they could be allowed if at a different circuit. And the deployment rate is still at 100%. So they're going to have to be a little bit more careful with how they regen their hybrid here tonight. They'll be deploying it much faster than they'll be recovering it. So that could add a little bit more strategy into tonight's race. Approximately 27 laps, 5 pit stops expected. So for the 190 miles, we will expect the drivers into the pits around 5 times, give or take, with cautions, of course. We've got no fast repairs with us tonight, and the start and restart rules are the same as iRacing. So if you've been following along in the Velocity Online Racing's coverage of some other championships, such as the Global IndyCar Challenge or the Velocity Online Racing Series itself, the restart procedure there will be slightly different to what we have with us tonight. But at the moment, the top 3 stands as O'Sullivan in the 63 is on pole with a 24.147, and it's pretty close out there. Seb, what do you make of this top 3 so far?
Well, I feel like it's the usual suspect in this series. We have Liam O'Sullivan, straight Rodin Eftink, Matthias Strauss also not very far. So as I predicted, really close. That's going to be pack racing, buddy.
Yeah, 100%. There's going to be two teammates up at the front at the moment, obviously being the Altena Autosport VOR cars, as the grid is now set, and we will shortly get the grid up for you to take us through the starting grid for tonight's 190-miler at Texas. So on the front row, we have Liam O'Sullivan. Lining up alongside him is David Strid, the independent. And on row number 2, we have Roden Eftink, O'Sullivan's teammate for Velocity Online Racing, and Matthias Strauss, the first of the Team Watson Racing entries in the number 28 alongside him. Row number 3 then, we've got Dan Ench in the 52 and Brad Stanley in the 277. These two could be ones to watch. Dan Ench has pulled off some pretty good strategies in recent weeks, so hopefully for him, this could be another good night for a result. Row number 4, Jason Lowe, the independent again, the second of our privateers inside the top 5 rows of the grid in the 004. Matthias Marcamini, he was one of the contenders at the end of the race at Auto Club. We'll see what he can do from there. Row 5 is Ryan Bowles, another privateer, alongside Richard Kilbo. I mean, if I'm pronouncing that wrong, please correct me later on in the Discord. Row number 6 belongs to the 999 and the number 9. It's all 9s on the 6th row with Mike West and Rick Loverson. And that is all we have time for in terms of the grid. The drivers, yes, no, that is all we have time for in terms of the grid. The drivers now making their way out onto the banking for their one and only pace lap, as we will have O'Sullivan taking us to the green flag. I believe this is his first entry into the season, so starting it off with a bang, being on pole position. And who's this? It looks like Roden Eftink.
Yeah.
Going back to the rear of the field, Seb.
Yeah, because the winner of the previous race actually starts from the back. That's what I was surprised to see Rodin qualifying. And but there we go. Everything is fine.
Yeah, so one thing I forgot to mention, of course, is the winner of the previous round will have to start from the back. So the last race that I believe I covered, that was Matthias Strauss, who had actually a very good race, coming up to the top 6 back in Phoenix. So this time it's Roden Efting's turn to try and carve his way through the field. I've known Roden for a few weeks now. A few times I've covered a race that he's been in, and he's definitely one to watch. So we'll have to keep tabs on him as the race progresses. But as the pace car pulls off and we enter the start zone, the green flag drops, and O'Sullivan leads the way for the start of the race. It's quite the start there for O'Sullivan. He's managed to pull out a good few car lengths over the chasing field. We'll see how they sort of react to this and whether they want to work together to try and reel him back in. We've got the top 3 sort of closing back together now as the field gets underway. We're sort of still getting up to speed here. Only 11 cars with us this evening, so as we look back from the leading car of the number 63 O'Sullivan to the rest of the field, we should see a lot of close racing, as you mentioned here, Seb. I mean, it looks like the pack's not really getting too spread out already, even though we're only on lap number 2.
Yeah, indeed. And you see, this league has only run the older Texas with like higher banking in 1 and 2. Let's see how they'll deal with this flatter to 1 and 2 as we see some action for the lead.
Yeah, exactly as you say. The newer banking, I'll call it, compared to what these drivers will be used to in this series, is the fact that, yeah, as you said, the banking's a lot less aggressive in 1 and 2, so drivers will need to work that weight jack a little bit more, as we've got Strid in the 48 trying to make a challenge around the outside of O'Sullivan, and he's sort of getting crowded out now. The pack racing effect, as you said, Seb, is coming into full effect now, and you see drivers going super, super wide. Jason Lowe in the 004 tries to go around all the way around the outside, goes way up high towards the wall, and that's sort of a trademark line here at Texas. You sort of want to run completely to the bottom, I think, or all the way up high. There's not really sort of an in the middle line you can run, as that sort of puts you in between 2 grooves, and not really something that you want to be doing. As we now ride on board with the 18, who sort of seems to be dropping off the back of this lead group a little bit. I mean, he's made some good progress. So he's up to 9th already.
Yeah, but a full second on a pack race, yeah, that's not ideal. Like you better pray, as we see exactly this. They're fighting pretty hard up ahead. So let's hope that they fight pretty hard, so that Rodin can come back and make it even more interesting.
Definitely. As we now ride on board with Matthias Strauss, who's looking to the inside of Jason Lowe. They are still side by side. So if we look to the right-hand side of us, there you can see that beautiful orange and blue livery for Jason Lowe. He's sort of not been performing as he would have liked recently, I believe, but he's up to a really good start tonight. Obviously top 3 and still going strong early in this one. So hopefully he can start to gain some momentum again and really challenge for some of these wins, as now we sort of see a fight for the lead. Strauss to the outside of O'Sullivan. These two know each other extremely well. I would expect some room to be given there and some respect to be given, as we see exactly that. Strauss sort of sticking to the outside line. He doesn't want to go and follow in the slipstream. What do you think? You think he's just trying to play the long game here?
Yeah, I mean, I like his line. I usually like to go for the top 1 and 2. Actually, as we saw in the previous lap, we saw Strauss having a better run coming out of the high lane. So in 1 and 2, the high lane can be definitely worth it. Maybe not as much in 3 and 4 as we saw, but like, yeah, I do like the lines he ran.
Yeah, we can see the fact that the engine notes stay up high and will continue to be up high, as this is one of IndyCar's faster circuits, I believe. Your drivers will be exceeding 220 miles an hour, and if you're sort of more European and miles per hour is a bit too American for you, that's sort of 350 kilometers an hour on the straights. Obviously, if you're following someone, that's going to be a little bit higher, but it will all come sort of evening out once you reach the corner, as these cars give off extreme levels of dirty air, which is why you see these cars fanning out every time we get to a corner, as we now see on the back from Jack West. But there seems to be another challenge up at the front of the field. It seems to be that Matthias Strauss is sort of having a look. He's holding that outside line, but it's not as if he's sort of trying to run away with things at the moment. It sort of seems to be these two at the front are consuming the 2 ideal lines, so everyone else is sort of left guessing a little bit.
Yeah, indeed. Usually you want to be top 2 in these kinds of races. Like, a track position is very, very important in those IndyCar races to avoid all the dirty air and nasty things this car can give. So for the other guys, you gotta find a clean area, especially here. Like for Marco Mini, I would have liked to go down on the inside to get as much clear as possible, not to follow the guy right in front of me.
Yeah, it's interesting. He's deciding to sort of follow in the slipstream rather than, as you say, find that clean air. Maybe he's sort of hinting at trying to save a little bit more fuel, go longer into this race. As he's sort of, you know, we know and we've seen that he can perform well and pick up good performances, but currently sitting down in 8th position. Maybe it's a tactical sort of decision early on in this race, as you know, we're already on lap 13 and we're expecting the average pit strategy to be around 27 laps. So, you know, although it feels like we've just got underway, we're really not too far away from the first pit window.
Yeah, that's 55% tank. Yeah, it goes by pretty fast. Yeah. And again, we saw that advantage from the high side in 1 and 2. But yeah, 3 and 4 not as effective.
Yeah, 100%. It's going to be very interesting to see O'Sullivan continues to choose that inside line into turns number 1 and number 2. I would imagine that he would start to sort of see a little bit more playing around with the weight jacker, but you know, drivers need to be careful here because as many of our viewers probably know, the weight jacker can start to cook your tires a little bit too quickly almost.
You gotta fine tune it.
100%. And we look back to, well, I said to keep an eye on Rodan Eftink. He's on screen now and he's already up to the top 5. He's really not messing about here. Going up the inside of West, and I believe that was Strauss. Is that behind him? No, it's not. That's my mistake.
Negative.
That is the number 25 of Bowles instead, but he is going to pass West and Bowles to take up 5th position, and it looks like he's on an extreme hunt. The Dutchman not messing about, probably taking some inspiration from one of his rather famous countryman on the other side of the pond in single-seater racing, as he's now, as we look towards the front, extremely close to David Strid. He's going to go to the outside line, I believe. He picks the outside, sorry. We're going to go side by side. He's going to go even higher than the 004 to the inside of him. But unfortunately, he hits that. Yeah. But the run is going to be incredible. I believe he's dumping the hybrid, Seb.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. That's perfectly executed. Like, high on two, getting the perfect launch with the hybrid, and go down the side of front four. That's how you do a perfect pass to this place.
100%. And this is going to be rather interesting for his championship fight. I mean, I don't know how serious Roden's going to have to be taking this championship. I'm not sure if he's sort of using this series as sort of a good way to keep the practice and keep the laps in. I know some drivers are sort of using this series that way and focusing more on their other efforts elsewhere. But still, the level of talent here, because of that, is extremely high, with this being a once-a-week sort of event rather than every 2 weeks or so that some other series may be. But Roden Eftink really not messing about, up to third position from the complete back of the field. It's only taken him around one stint. He started, well, it says he started third, that's where he qualified, but unfortunately, because of his end of line penalty per the regulations, he had to start from plumb dead last, which in this case is 13th. But fast forward 21 laps, and he's up fighting at the front once again. It's two Altena Autosport teammates fighting at the front, along with the Team Watson Racing entry of Matthias Strauss. As we approach lap number 22, we cross the stripe, and we're going to start seeing some cars down pit road soon, Seb.
Yeah, and now this is very important. I think it's very wide pit window because only 27 laps. I don't think like you can go down one stop. So right now, like some of these guys, they could pit right now because like on the final pits, you can do like the full tank 27 laps and be fine with it. So, but again, do you really want to leave the pack? That's the big question.
Yeah, exactly. We've got a pit speed of 45 miles an hour, so that's 72 kilometers an hour. So, the drivers won't be crawling down pit lane, but nonetheless, it's going to cost them a fair bit should they need to pit under the green flag conditions. Now, touching upon safety car procedures, we do have the lucky dog with us here tonight. So, in that case, the lead lapped car that will be in between any cars that will be in between the leader and the safety car will automatically get waved around once again, so they will be able to get their lap back. So there is sort of a strategic variable in terms of that, but you really need to be careful here where you sort of pick and choose your pit stop, because one unlucky caution and your night could be completely ruined.
Oh yeah, this is why also you maybe do not want to pit so early, because yeah, as you said, like someone can just mess it up and you're down one lap, and even if you get a lucky dog, you'll be at the end of the line and you have to work very hard to get back to the front.
Yeah, it seems to be that everything's sort of spread out a little bit. We sort of lost that intensity that we had in the first few laps of this race. I mean, we're sort of seeing roughly two main grooves being formed, drivers sort of crisscrossing all over the place. We saw, I was watching David Strid through turns number 1 and 2 and sort of taking a sort of high to low crossover line, which I haven't really seen too much of, but it seems to be working for him as we see the first two drivers into the pits. That's Strauss and O'Sullivan. My word, close on the brakes. Matthias Strauss locking the front axle as they trundle down pit road for the first time at 48, 49 miles per hour. And this is going to really trigger the pit stop cycle. We're going to really see for the first time what's going to be the way to go, whether that undercut's going to be really strong or whether the overcut's going to be strong. And Love is going to take the gamble on the overcut as he comes in one lap later.
Wow, so 27 lap fuel tank, but these guys have been sitting quite a bit actually.
Yeah, it was one extra lap, I believe, for Jason Lowe, as he comes in on lap number 28 compared to 27, as now comes in Roden Eftink. So that's really interesting. He's managed to keep the aggression levels up, cut through the field, but still crucially eke out that fuel tank just a little bit, a little bit here, a little bit there, 1 or 2 laps longer. Could always open up his safety car window, which will ideally, serve him massively.
Makes you think if they don't have a special fuel saving mode in those Daytona Autosport car. Yeah, that's a good question. I should ask the guy that is speaking in our ear, Jack.
Yeah, no, it'd be a very good question for our producer, the chairman of Autodromo Autosport, Mr. Julian Altena himself, and he's telling us in the ear that he puts rocket fuel in these cars for this race. So it'll be interesting to see whether they'll pass the technical inspection come the end of the race. But the pit cycle is in mid-swing, so we have Strid followed by Ench and Bowles, who I believe are yet to pit, leading the race at the moment, but our leader on circuit, I say sort of once, our net leader, I should say, Liam O'Sullivan, sort of now up into 5th. So the number 63 and the 28 are our sort of net leaders. As it now seems to be, actually, that has flipped around, Seb, as look who's now leading the race from the back of the field.
And very interesting because they're in tandems. Like you have Ifting and O'Sullivan, the teammates, and you have Lowe and Strauss a bit further behind, like half a second behind, but still good. They're still within draft distance. But that's very interesting to see how it has shaped up to the, especially for the pit stops.
Yeah, definitely. I think the fact that you have a teammate up with you at the front of the field is always better than not, as Efting tries to find his way past the back markers. We're going 3 wide. O'Sullivan's going to f through. Oh my word, boys. You need to be a little bit more careful here. The lap cars don't need to get out the way, but Efting wanted to make sure that he lost as minimal amount of time as possible, as now Jason Lowe and Matthias Strauss will have to find their way past, I believe that is the number 77 of Marcamini.
A bit further back Marcamini is. I wonder if something happened to his pit stops for him to be so far behind.
Yeah, I'm sure we can have a look into that at some point, but it seems to be Lowe struggling a little bit to get past. He's now sort of dumping the hybrid, no doubt, and manages to make the move stick. And Matthias Strauss is going to almost get cut off as we're on board with him. Give us the room, please, Marcamini. He's going to go alongside.
I know Matthias, he's probably like pestering in his headset. It's like, move.
100%. He's going to wash up and almost get into the side pod. He's going to be getting a little bit frustrated, don't you think there, Seb? He's going to want to be saying, get out the way, I have a race to win.
Yeah, especially when like you're so close to the lead like that. Yeah, you want that lap car to get out of the way. This isn't your fight. You're fighting no one close to us. Like, come on, let's have it. Let me have this one.
Yeah, although it's not him just being completely selfish about everything, he's sort of still fighting for his own race, falling a lap down at the moment. He needs to be in this front group to hopefully, should a caution get out, get that lucky dog that I was talking about earlier on, as Strauss gets a nibble off the apron there, Seb. My word, he might be a little bit hot-headed.
Yeah, this is where... Oh, and we have a replay of Marcamini. So what happened to him? Oh, he's missing the half of his front wing, Jack.
Oh my god. What's gone on? What on earth has gone on there? So, he's lost half of his front wing already. I don't know if we saw the contact. I was briefly looking away from our replay screen, Seb, but did he have contact?
That's a very good question. Ghost Rider, we'll look into this.
So we look further back. So he's already had the contact there.
I didn't see either.
Anyway, we can always come back to that, as we now have a change for second place. So it's no longer an Altena Autosport 1-2 at the front of the field while we ride on board with Rodan Efting now. O'Sullivan has dropped back to 3rd place with Lowe looking all over that gurney flap of Rodan Efting. He's really looking racy now.
He is, and that was scary. The 3 wide with Marcamini. Strauss finally getting rid of him, and now he can go to work.
He's not messing about, is he? Straight to the outside of Liam O'Sullivan in the wheel tracks of Rodan Efting. He needs to be careful of his tyre wear there. Doesn't want to take too much out of his tyres too early on, but the slipstream's going to give him a nice bit of boost and more top speed and a better run ultimately to go steaming around the outside of our pole sitter, who now drops to 4th place. It almost looks like he's under attack from Marcamini here. He needs to be careful that he doesn't actually drop behind that lapped car, because we saw that he can be slightly difficult to overtake.
Indeed. Like ask Matthias, he will definitely tell you, oh, this is bad news for William, right there. He's behind him. Good lord.
Yeah, so he has dropped behind him. Now it could be strategic. I know that O'Sullivan is a very strategic racer when it comes to the Indy cars. That's why he loves them so much. He always says that this is a chess match at 200 and something miles an hour, and you really sort of get to feel that when you're behind the wheel of these cars. There's so much that the driver needs to sort of manage, negotiate everything from weight jackers to anti-roll bars to fuel maps, and everything can give you that strategic advantage should it be played in the right way. And it's not only that, being the driver, you're having to change things on the go while you're driving. You have to be your own pit crew. You have to be, well, you don't change the tires yourself, obviously, but you do your own pit strategy. In a lot of instances, you do your own setups. But unfortunately, we've sort of given, fortunately for the drivers, I should say, we've given them a bit of a respite tonight with being a fixed setup, so the drivers don't have to focus so much on that aspect. But Marcomini, while I've been yapping on about this, has got past Strauss again, and he's sort of looking hot on the heels of Rodan Efting, so it really looks like he wants to get his lap back, doesn't it?
Oh, and down the inside for Olsen and down to Strauss. And yeah, for the leaders, actually, if I'm like Love and Efting, I'm probably letting Marco Mini by, like a transaction. Okay, you're back on the lead lap, and you help me save fuel while I'm chilling behind you. So that's one way to look at it.
Yeah, that's definitely a good way to go about it, and one way that definitely could is wall there. I believe that was the lapped car number 24 getting very loose into turn 3 and 4. What on earth happened there?
Oh, that's weird seeing someone getting loose in 3 and 4.
I mean, obviously we do have the rubbered line, so to say, here, but I mean, he found himself way up on the outside line, as I believe this is on board with the number 24, as this is a replay. Gets on the grass. That's not a very good start to the lap. It looks like he's almost down on speed, Seb.
He does look like it. It's like that car doesn't look healthy, actually.
Yeah, so if this is the lap that I think it is, we'll sort of see the rest of the leading pack come through on our inside here, and he literally just slightly gets out of the groove. It's not this lap, I stand corrected. So we're going to continue following this number 24, and this is now live.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's probably a way. Don't go too slow. Don't go. Bring out the caution, please, buddy. There's something that's, I don't know, this car looks weird, and probably should go to the pits, maybe some repairs to do. Yeah, not the best outcome for the number 24 of Kelbo.
Yeah, it's strange. I mean, it's almost like it was intentional, the way that the car dived towards the apron of turn number 1 there. I mean, we'll have to find out and have a deeper dive into what on earth was going on there. Possibly a hardware problem for him rather than a lapse of concentration, as we now look at the leading pack once again. And for the second time this evening, we have the number 004. Jason Lowe leads the way from Rodan Efting. O'Sullivan has found his way back past Matthias Strauss, but the car in between, that sort of green and black car, is not fighting for overall position. That car is a lap down, but he doesn't have to get out of the way. So he's really giving O'Sullivan a headache here, and it's going to be a massive pain for him, because he's got one car taking away some clean air, clean racetrack, where he can't use it.
Exactly, because when you're third, you still can, third in group, you can still maybe find something. Like now you're starting to be your fourth, it's starting to be even more complicated to find that clean air, especially when it's a lapped car and you're like, oh, come on, please. And yeah, a lot of expletives going through in the cockpits, yeah. But hey, it's only lap 51.
I was going to say, yeah, it's only lap 51. It feels like we've only been covering this race for around 5 minutes, but it's I sense the speed really that these cars can fly around this circuit. As I said, exceeding speeds of 220 miles an hour down the back straight, as we sort of see everyone falling into a somewhat orderly queue. It seems like with the smaller field that we have this afternoon, obviously the likelihood of a caution with the less amount of cars is always going to decrease. So I think this could be some drivers now sort of shifting towards playing the longer game rather than trying to get the track position in case of a caution.
Yeah, especially since like now you got to pit like in like 1 or 2 laps because we're in the end of the second stint, and right now it's just trying to prep, looking where you can make this last lap pass when you can start to be on the offensive. So yeah, as you say, chess match. It's or as they do in boxing, like just a round of observation.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you just looking on the timing screen there, we briefly saw what laps each drivers were pitting on, and so far in terms of wow, we got a massive accident. Oh my word! I look away from the screen for 2 seconds, and they're still crashing in the background out of turn number 4. Mike West manages to make his way through absolutely fine, but that is everyone and their mum, auntie, granddad, dog, pet, you name it, was involved in that one. My word.
Yeah, that was nearly the entirety of the lead pack. I think only Matthias Strauss survived this one, which is massive. So, hang on, what happened?
So we look at this, and it's almost Jason stops.
I think he was going to pits, but I think the message wasn't transmitted. He maybe forgot to say, "Hey, I'm paying in," or said it too late, and he got rear-ended.
So this is on board with Rodan Eftink. We are going into turn number 3. So he chooses the high line. This is Low, the leader in front, and yeah, he just backs all the way off. This is not the first time that Eftink has been caught out in this sort of situation with a car checking up right in front of him. And when you're doing north of 200 miles an hour, there's not really an awful lot you can do, is there, Seb? You know, the car's so on its nose and so on edge as it is, and obviously when you've got wheels disconnected, brake lines severed, it's almost impossible to hold your brakes. These drivers knowing exactly what to do in that situation, but when you've had an impact like that, the brake pedal sometimes doesn't even work.
No, and see, like sometimes you have to lift, and like Matthias did the right thing, like go down to the apron, lift a bit, and just avoid a question. Like he's going to be thankful, like thank God I decided to leave a little gap, and maybe like I'm glad Marco Mini decided to bother me a lot because I could anticipate what happened. And Strauss isn't the most lucky guy, so good for him to avoid this one.
Yeah, wow, looking from his helmet cam there, that is quite a sight to behold in front of you. It reminds me a lot like the story of Moses parting the seas. Everyone had that accident and collected themselves into the outside wall, and well, I'm sure it's not the way that Matthias would want to obtain the lead of this race, but if you're in his position, you see all of that unfold in front of you, and you sort of go, well, thanks very much, guys. I will happily take over the lead of this race.
Yeah, because
yeah. Julian in our ears is saying it's not too far off Alex Rossi's famous save in 2019 here, but it was definitely up there with saves of the race, and probably will come away with save of the race. But while we've been detaining or depicting that accident, we've had a swarm of activity on pit road as Strauss now doesn't come into the pits. He
just came out of the pits, actually. So
yes, so everyone down to 7th, I believe, in the 227. That Stanley is the last. No, sorry, Eftink pitted on lap number 56 as well. So Lovison pitted on lap 55, O'Sullivan on 54, but I believe O'Sullivan won't be making his way out of the pit lane anytime soon, as we see Jason Lowe actually making his way out onto the racetrack. That seems to be, well, from the back end of the car, it seems to look okay. He goes rather slowly. I don't know if I think this is him dropping back into place, Seb.
Yeah, that's probably, especially when you come out of the pits, and it's always like kind of a mess, especially with iRacing, because God knows iRacing sometimes can do funny stuff that makes you mad. So he'll probably get back in place. And yep. And by the way, I don't think lap cars drop back in those restarts, correct?
Yes, so we're doing this the old iRacing way. We do have the lucky dog, but I believe this will sort of stay as it is until we go green again. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see Jason Lowe sort of coming out the pit so quickly. I would have thought that the damage on that number 004 would be a lot more dramatic on what seems to be we have had so far as the field now makes their way to the outside of the circuit. This is a classic IndyCar thing of no one being able to pass on the outside. Matthias Strauss then leads the field to the green flag to restart as we cross the stripe for lap number 58. So how is this going to fan out then? Caution number 1 is out of the way. We have had our second pit stop. We have approximately 2 more trips down pit road for everyone else. Looking back from Strauss, he had a bit of a blink there on the way into turn number 2, but a good restart for him nonetheless. Gets a bit of a gap to Strid in the 48 behind him.
Yeah, blinking is a recurring thing for Matthias. He will sometimes like blink one time every now and often, but not the worst connection. Our producer knows that someone in this booth actually had a pretty bad connection, as we see Dan Ench being under duress right now. Oh god.
This is now Dan Ench, this is Mark Amini, and O'Sullivan to the inside line. O'Sullivan, I believe, still being 1 lap down, so his day is not completely over, but the likes of him and Loverson will be praying for another caution to hopefully get their lap back. These guys are going to be rather aggressive, no doubt, to try and get to the front of this pack, but the race for the lead is not so much aggressive as it once was, but it looks like the fight for second place is the one that's sort of kicking off at the moment as we ride on board with Mike West, started 11th and currently 4th. Good day for him, up the best part of 6 places or so. Makes his way into turns number 1 and 2. Decided to take the higher line in the 999 car.
199. Guess we hit jackpot tonight. Oh wait, no, that's not 777. Oh, you can feel the understeer on this camera angle. That's insane.
Yeah, you can really see the effect of, well, the lack of aerodynamics, I'll call it, and these cars are extremely aerosensitive. I know at the famous Brickyard Indianapolis Motor Speedway, even if you get what in iRacing is known as a 0x, where you slightly tap the wall, that can still somewhat give you a tiny bit of damage, yes. Which can affect, the complete performance of your car and really just completely screw your race.
Yes, so the common thing on this car is floor damage. Oh, as we see, also, I think that's Liam just shooting by on the inside. You have the floor damage, and floor damage is absolutely horrible. Like, you lose, 10 kilometers per hour, you lose cornering, and you're just on survival mode until the end of the race, and that's horrible when it happens.
Yeah, well, it didn't take long, did it? We said that O'Sullivan would be aggressive, trying to get back to the front to get his lap back. He hits the front in commanding fashion once again. Although being a lap down, it's really the black and red car that is just behind him to his outside. You can see on the screen there. That is our race leader. This blue and white VOR Altena Autosport entry is currently actually sat in 9th on the timing screens, being a lap. Well, he's on the very, very tail end of the lead lap at the moment. He's fighting to get his lap back, and he'll be hoping for another caution. So we'll see how his race and his strategy will sort of plan out now. So Seb, if you're in Liam's position, you're at the front of the field, you're not leading the race, although you once were, maybe thinking that you're not robbed of a win at the moment, but sort of definitely caught out in an accident that wasn't necessarily your fault, as Ryan Bowles goes rather high in the background out of turn number 4. Do you think that you need to be sort of playing a few more defensive cards here, sort of being a bit more aggressive with your driving in the hopes that someone cracks under the pressure?
Yeah, I mean, I would want to go full send and go as far as possible on the tank, be as aggressive as I can, and yeah, hope for that caution to come. And if I'm in Matthias' place, I don't need to go aggressive on Liam. Right now, Liam, he needs a caution to get back into the lead, so I'm just staying behind him. This is not where I'm winning the race, and I'll just save fuel, save my tires, and wait for the final showdown.
That's a very good point you actually make there about sitting behind and saving fuel. It's, as you say, yeah, rightly so, Liam O'Sullivan's not in the fight for the win as it stands, so Matthias Strauss can sort of use him as a free slipstream, right? You can use his draft for free, not fighting him, and that can help. Yeah, see, look at this, straight to the inside, getting in that slipstream, sort of trying to save the tyres, taking a bit of a wider berth into turn number 3. Strauss leading 15 laps today, and as he crosses the stripe again, that 15 will turn to 16. And looking further back, sort of around the 3rd place on our timing screens, Ryan Bowles, I've been watching him the last couple of laps out of the commentary box, and he's sort of taking some interesting lines sort of around this motor speedway at the moment, possibly trying to get some more clean air over his car, trying to save some tires, but it's definitely causing a few scary moments and a few scary checkups with himself and West in the 999.
Yeah, indeed, because if you go super high on the 3-4 we saw, it does not work in 3-4, so yeah, you're letting all the guys to come behind you, and that could lead to not very likable things, let's just say that. And right now you just want to stay in that pack. You just want to stay in that pack. If you're in the lead pack, you're good. You'll have a ticket for a showdown at the final laps. So just chill at the back, chill in the pack, and wait for 120 and full guns draw and shootout Western style, Clint Eastwood style.
I completely agree. I think the main problem that the other drivers around Bowles at the moment is struggling with is because he's taking that super high line in turn number 1 and 2. You see him go wider than any other driver further up, and he sort of cuts down to sort of get the run. And as everyone sort of washes up from taking that lower line on the exit of turn number 2, he's got so much overspeed that he almost gets boxed in, and the speed difference is so drastic that it causes for some hairy moments as Rodan Eftink makes his way past Ryan Bowles in the 25 rather easily.
I'm surprised because he ran hard into the back of the 004, and Rodan is in 3rd, and good job for the Alternate Autosport pit crew for getting the car back up to shape. But Julian, you should probably give them a raise actually for such good work on his car if Rodan ends up winning the race.
Yeah, well, it's interesting you mention with the two. Well, Rodan is now sort of in more contention for the win of the race, in 2nd place at the moment. His teammate, as we mentioned, isn't fighting for the win. So, you know, do you try and play a bit of a hand to your teammate, try and give him a bit of a boost if you can?
I mean, right now Liam needs a caution to win it. So, yeah, I mean, right now just you're 2 against 1, which is something maybe we should fix that in the Team Watson Racing camp. Somewhat to help Matthias in here. But I mean, yeah, I mean you have 2 teammates here. Yeah, play the team games. It's all fair. It's all fair in love and racing, actually.
Yeah, I don't see any problems in a little bit of teamwork here and there. As coming through turn number 3, last time around, Matthias Strauss sort of jinked up half a groove or so. It's, you know, looks a little bit more dicey out there at the moment. He's probably feeling the pressure of the number 18 breathing down his neck and sitting on his gearbox. As on your screen now, looking back from the rear wing of Liam O'Sullivan, who's our on-circuit track position leader. This is our lead group, but it's really the 2 cars behind him that we need to be focusing on. Matthias Strauss trying to hold off the Autodromo Autosport entry number 18, Rodan Eftink, who has come through the field more than once this evening as we cross the line to start lap number 79 of 127. We're already past the halfway point, Seb, and it's really sort of coming to a close probably quicker than we would have thought.
I mean, this is what happens when you don't have a lot of drivers and it's caution free actually, because those are like under 30 seconds lap time, so it goes by so quickly. Actually, like it's probably like the race is only like an hour, and it's actually it's also pretty entertaining race. We see all these cars really bunched up together, and as I said, here's a shot of like the third car being half a second, in the wall.
Ooh,
48.
that was David Strid that brushed his right side tires up against the wall on the exit of turn number 2. His car looks okay, and he's managed to keep the minimum speed up, but that's a perfect example of how one slight lapse of concentration here at Texas Motor Speedway, especially on the turns number 1 and 2 side of the circuit, can really catch you out, and you can find a wall pretty quickly. But Seb, the leaders have sort of found their own little groove at the moment. I mean, they're sort of, let's say half a second or so in front of David Strid, who we're riding on board with at the moment. Do you think he's sort of playing I'll call it the Matthias Strauss game, just sort of letting the action happen in front and trying to sort of pick his way through when the time's right? Because realistically, we've still got the best part of 40 or so laps left to run here, as we now see.
And heading, I think that's Matthias, right? Matthias in an Autosport car?
Yes, that's so. O'Sullivan and Strauss into the pits. Okay, so this is going to be interesting. They will run together. And what we saw before, it was the overcut that was actually the favourable thing, no? Because that's how Efting got the lead on the first round of pit stops.
Yeah, indeed. And yeah, again, to prove your point, this race has been really entertaining. I didn't notice that we were again already into the pit phase. It goes by so fast. We got one more pit to go, though.
Yeah, so that time around, I believe we had Bowles into the pit lane along with Strauss, who was a lap before with O'Sullivan. So O'Sullivan will now drop 2 laps down, but he will be back to sort of hovering just about on the lead lap once the pit cycle comes around and goes through and does its magical thing that we all love to watch. Jack West and Roden Efting with a black flag.
Oh, that's
oh no,
that's a
Roden Efting.
Either unsafe pit entry or too fast entering pit road. That's a killer.
Hopefully we can get a replay of what actually happened to Roden soon enough, as he now comes into the pits. This will be, so here's the replay, I believe. So this is going to be his in-lap, I believe. Seb, you want to talk us through this one?
Yeah, so you usually, like, you want, as we saw, like, you slow down approximately here. Slow. Oh, bit too fast. Yeah, that's too fast entering. And unsafe pit interests. That's probably unsafe pit interests, because you see the right tires were not fully in between the white lines. And that's the reason for the black flag, sadly, for Roden Efting. Like, brutal way to go out.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you need to be so on the limit, and these cars, especially with this new hybrid system, we saw a couple of races ago back at Phoenix, drivers really struggling to make that transition from the banking to the apron, especially slowing down for pit road. The way that the hybrid system works, from as far as I understand, speaking to a couple of the drivers that we've got on circuit here tonight, is that it has a really strange power delivery, that when you're trying to sort of slow the car down and get onto pit road, you have these rather spontaneous surges of power and snaps of and loss of grip at the rear axle that can really sort of ruin your day. And it definitely ruined some days back in Phoenix. I think Aman Lau being one of those, and unfortunately today Roden Efting with a small error onto pit road. He's been so fast, but unfortunately sometimes it's the smallest mistakes that cost you the biggest prizes.
So I think I have a theory about, like, probably with the hybrid system and probably with the braking. So the braking is used for regenerating the battery. In L1 Ultimate, actually, it is advised that you do not have your battery full, because it can it can lead to unwanted consequences in your braking, as well as losing braking power. So I think it's probably something like that. Maybe you'd want to empty the battery before you're coming into the pits, so that you want to have the least amount of issues. But yeah, that's just a theory. Didn't have really the chance to test it out, but I think it's probably working like that. Although Matthias, Jack, he has a big lead. Good golly.
Yeah, so I'm struggling to figure out how he's done this. I mean, he pitted with O'Sullivan. They both pitted on the same lap, and I think they've sort of been using each other as draft partners and draft buddies, swapping around, saving a bit of fuel. And when you have someone to work with you, and you're not constantly going side by side and fighting each other, as I believe we might see another swap here. I think O'Sullivan would have wanted to stay in front of Strauss, so I don't think he would be too keen on trying to work with the leader of the race, because ultimately he's looking for a caution and to get back around so he can make his second charge through the field of the night. But yeah, I mean, Strauss has seemed to be playing this rather well. I think he's done exactly what you said in terms of trying to save the fuel behind the lapped car in front, because he knows he's not a slow lapped car in front, as that was our pole sitting car, and that's really sort of played into his hands rather beautifully with the 2.6 second lead over Marcomini.
I mean, right now Matthias is just in the driver's seat. You have such a big lead on a track that is draft dependent. You're with someone that you know very well, like you're very fast with. So right now with Matthias, just chill at the back. Just make sure you don't do anything stupid and cross your fingers that it goes green to the entirety of the remaining distance. Because right now, if nothing happens, if Matthias nails his final pit stop, he has a rainbow road straight towards victory lane.
It's looking that way, isn't it? I mean, there's not too much in terms of fighting at the front, but if we look back from the number 25, we see 1, 2, 3, 4 cars, maybe even 5, with a couple in front of us as well, looking to have a rather dicey fight. I believe this is for the third position, well, second place actually. This is, so we have Liam and Matthias around 3 seconds now to the good over the rest of the field, and then it's sort of everyone else. We've got the likes of Strid in the 48, Bowles in the 25, Marcomini and West are in there going side by side, trading positions as well. And have a look who that is in the background, the blue and orange number 004. That's Jason Lowe. He's 2 laps down, so he's not in contention for a place here, but he's going to be wanting to make his way through this pack of 4. And you never know, it's sort of a faster car through traffic kind of situation. You don't know. I'm not too sure how much damage he's carrying on that car, but if he manages to find his way through rather quickly, I think that could really shake up the order of this pack of 4 cars and really sort of give us an interesting watch for a couple of laps. As we switch back now to Matthias, sort of stations being held and status quo at the front of the field.
And Matthias, like, he has to again do it, because look at this, they're now 3.5 seconds. They're only this is only a duo, and they're like dumping onto this pack, because this pack cannot get themselves to work together, and pretty much, and I think probably has accepted, like, if there's no caution right now, we're only fighting for second place right now. So yeah, for Matthias, like, chill out, just need to do one good pit entry, one good pit exit, and you're good.
Big moment for David Strid on the exit of turn number 2. I think that's definitely not going to help his chances of trying to catch the lead. Well, we'll call it lead 2 cars for the simplicity of everyone watching. But yeah, that was a really, really big moment for David Strid on the exit of turn 2. Big wiggle, which cost him a lot of momentum down the back straight. And exactly like you say, Seb, these guys are focusing too much on second place, and they sort of need to focus on the bigger picture. They need to sort of get the magnifying glass away from the bit of paper and look at the larger image, because realistically, if they get their act together, we've got 27 laps, 1 more pit stop. I think it's catchable. I think it's doable if they really get their head in the game and start working together. I think you know, it's going to be a 4 versus 2. It could be done, but we'll see.
It could be done. It could be done. It just needs, like, good organization and no bothering from everyone. Yeah, they need to work together to at least reduce the gap and do a perfect, maybe a more risky pit entry and pit exit than what Strauss needs to do, because that's the only way they can, just work together and be gambling on pit entry and pit exit. Because if not, they can say, oh, look at this, 4.36 seconds, Jack. That's insane.
Yeah, it's a big gap. These guys are sort of not getting the laps that they need to be closing that gap down. And if anything, it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. These guys haven't been swapping at all. Liam's just been towing Matthias round as there's a big contact I can see out of the commentary box. This might be the caution that we're looking for. That's Marcomini into the inside wall.
Yeah, there it is.
It's the caution. So Liam's race is saved. I can hear him going crazy over the in-simulator voice chat. He's going to be loving his race now as we see a stricken IndyCar on the back straight. Who's that?
And one guy that is not happy is Matthias Strauss, because he had this race in the bag and now he needs to fight for that win. Ooh. So, okay. So what caused this commotion in the back straight?
So this is that group that we've been following for a fair while. It's sort of nice, close racing, and I believe so. I definitely know Marcomini was involved. So that's the car. That's the yellow, green, and black car that's at the bottom of your screen now. So he's on the inside of, I believe, that's.
Oh, what the? Oh,
my word!
Oh my God, that's a big one. Well,
that's a huge accident, and I believe that's the 999 of West. So, what I mentioned this earlier. You know, you have the high line and the low line converging on the exit of turn number 2, and Seb, it's sort of a textbook incident. You have two drivers. Trajectory going towards the same bit of tarmac, and you know, unfortunately, two never go into one, do they?
Yeah, no, unless a bit of iRacing and netcar tomfoolery is involved. But I see like the black car of West, and he's getting tied, and he's trying really to steer that car, and I think he probably gets a bit loose. He goes down a bit, and he clips the right rear of Marcomini, and then.
Whoa. That really gives me flashbacks to a crash that happened on the NASCAR side of oval racing. It reminds me of the likes of Austin Dillon when he had that massive accident at Daytona, sort of spiraling upside down straight towards the catch fence for West. That must have been a scary moment. But like you say, I don't think it was intentional, was it? You know, just trying to steer out the wall and avoid the inevitable wheel damage that was coming his way.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, and as you see, I mean, it's a no-brainer right now. 27 lap fuel stint, and we're on lap 104, so everyone pits, and it's going to be a drag race towards the finish line, Jack. So that's going to be very interesting.
It's going to be one of those classic Texas dogfights. Before the caution came out, I was about to say that we might be sort of going against the gradient of history, as this circuit has one of the closest finishes in the real-world IndyCar series in 2016 between Graham Rahal, who beat James Hinchcliffe by just 0.008 of a second. And I thought today, well, we're not going to be getting anywhere near that. But as we saw, things can change in anything but an instant, and we instantly now have what could be an incredible sprint to the finish. One person I would say, Seb, that we need to watch out for are those two Altena Autosport cars. They are now they've now got that caution that they need, right? And they are the two cars that are at the back of the lead lap. So they are 7th and 6th respectively. O'Sullivan in the 63 is in 6th, and Eftink just behind. So we could expect some ballsy moves going into the closing parts of this race, don't you think?
Yeah, here's the call. We're getting another caution. There's going to be a wreck at the front. That's my call.
You reckon?
Yeah, that's my call. Yeah, I think we're not going green until the end as we see the driver standings, Jack.
Okay, so yeah, the driver's standings at the moment means Jason Lowe would still be leading the championship, but it's tied at the front. If Matthias Strauss can keep his lead on the championship, or keep his lead of this race rather, he's now tied at the top of the championship. As we now go back to green, Strauss leading the way, gets a pretty good start actually, and Liam's not hanging about at all. Catches, I believe, that's Dan Ench and Stanley in the 277, napping completely. Rodan Eftink's going to follow his teammate Linus Stern. It's formation flying for the Altena Autosport cars, up 2 positions before turn number 3 on the green flag.
Yeah, these guys are pretty tough cookies to crack, and for Strauss, you want to get out as quickly as possible. And I saw like for the entirety of the race, Liam had a very interesting line. He kept hogging that bottom line throughout the entire track, and it works pretty well in 3 and 4 when you know the bottom lane is the superior line. So I think that's like the tip to actually keep your position when you're in the lead. Just hug that bottom lane, because no matter what, even with the better run on the outside lane in 1 and 2, if you're not on bottom in 3 and 4, you're going to be slower.
100%. I think, you know, especially for this sort of sprint to the finish, you want to be minimizing the distance you can travel, isn't it? I mean, you're going to be using all of that Firestone life underneath you, especially if you're Matthias Strauss, started 4th and is currently leading, but he's got everyone hot on his heels. The top 3 are sort of in their own little group, but the 2 VOR Tenor Autosport cars are the sharks in the water. They're hunting this group down. And you see, just like someone in Formula 1 said not too long ago, you see the scene in Jurassic Park where they're in the buggy and the massive dinosaurs behind them? Well, these 2 that you see on your screen at the moment are the T-Rexes. They are hunting them down. The gap's already down to under half a second. They are really not messing about here, are they, Seb?
Yeah, this is the Jaws scene. This is the Terminator coming for you. Yeah, ta-tum, ta-tum, and you hear getting it louder and louder. So you better watch out. For Strauss, buckle up, buddy, because this will not be easy.
It's, well, exactly like you say, it's going to be not easy. It's one thing to catch, but it's quite another thing to get past. As Liam makes a dive to the inside, he's going to try and have a look past to try and get past Strid in the 48. They're side by side off of turn number 2. Strid gets the run as he uses the higher line, riding on board with him now. Liam looks to the inside line. He's going to fall back into line here. He's going to sort of wait another day, but those days are quickly running. This is lap number 112. Seb, they're looking to be 3 wide into turn 2.
Oh boy, this is a hornet's race right there. I'm telling you, like, my prediction maybe looks pretty doable right now.
David Strid didn't really want too much of that, did he? He sort of didn't put up too much of a fight as Strauss is now blinking in and out. This is no recipe for anything but a disaster.
Yep, this is not a... And here goes Liam. Strauss left a bit of a room open, and that's all Liam needed. You give
He's
him...
just put that gap open, hasn't he?
Yeah, you leave him a nail, he takes you up to the shoulder.
100%. I totally agree with you, and this is what happened as we ride on board with Matthias Strauss. This is following the previous lap as Liam now dives to the inside. This is how he set the move up. So the 25 sort of gives him the room on the inside. We had a bit of a blink out from Strauss, and then Liam sees the gap, and he's going to go straight up the inside, almost road course style, lunge into nick that bottom line off of Matthias Strauss. He has to open the steering, washes out, and once you sort of are on the inside, there's not too much you can do. And he's now opening that line up for his teammate Rodan Eftink, who struggles to get the traction actually out of turn number 2. It sort of seems to be a 2 versus 2 dogfight. Strauss and Bowles versus O'Sullivan and Eftink. The top 4 sort of dueling it out in a 2 versus 2 tag team match, and the 48 of Strid.
Let's get ready to rumble, as they say. Oh yeah, they're nearly 3 wide, and now Matthias, like yeah, that's going to be complicated getting Liam, because Liam has been keeping that inside line very, very well the entire race. So, oh boy, this is going to be spicy.
Coming up to 10 to go. The gaps are getting smaller. The margin for error is coming down. The speeds are increasing. The tires are getting worn. This is where the men are separated from the boys. 10 laps to go here at the Texas Motor Speedway next time around. We are watching the fight for the lead. Liam O'Sullivan, after the last caution, was fighting to keep on the lead lap. Finds himself now leading the race, this time on merit, not just courtesy of track position. His teammate Rodan Eftink started from the back of the field. He now washes up and wants to get in on the action. Nicks what is now 4th place off of Rodan Eftink. He gets now demoted outside of the podium places. This is now a complete dogfight at 250 miles an hour as Rodan Eftink finds the inside wall.
And I told you, oh yeah, they were wrecking. I told you this would not stay clean. Oh my god, and they're still wrecking. Oh boy.
Well, I didn't miss that one. I was glued to my screen and saw exactly what happened there, and it was again 2 drivers wanting to leave no margin for errors. We see Rodan Eftink and Strid on the back straight into turn 3. This is a replay, by the way. This isn't live pictures. Rodan Eftink's got the inside line, the number 16, the Chevy Velocity Online Racing entry, and they're going to come through the dogleg, and Strid just cuts down. I mean, it's very, very difficult not to put the blame there on Strid, because he's just sort of come down the circuit, almost as if the number 18 just isn't there.
Yeah, racing those NASCAR-style quad oval, it's always a doozy, so let's see.
So this is on board with Strid. He's going to come down the circuit.
And he goes down, he does not really keep his line, like he's not really turning the wheel, like his car is oriented towards the inside, and yeah, like if I feel like race control will say there's probably more on Strid than on the Eftink.
So this is on board with Dan Ench. So this is going to be, the crash will have happened a little bit further in front, and this is going to be some evading action for you. This is going to see, does he make it through or does he get tangled up in it? There's the accident. Cars are stricken, and he's just going to find the back of the number.
Ouch! Yeah, and as soon as he went high and there was a car so high on the track, and he's like, shoot.
This looks, so he's going to find his way down pit road. Dan Ench is, unfortunately, there's not going to be too much time to recover for him. 7 laps to go. It's going to be very difficult for him to salvage a good result out of this one. But one thing I did want to mention, actually, was how well the 004 of Lowe managed to avoid that one. When we were watching on board, with Strid, you saw that car getting closer and closer and closer, and then he sort of started to spin, didn't hit anything, probably would have flat spotted those Firestones, but he's got away with another miracle almost tonight, Seb.
Yeah, another miracle, and but no, he's not back on the lead lap, sadly. So at least if other people cannot get out of the pits because the car is too damaged, he'll still get a few positions, which is not something to sniff at. So yeah, now from two-way tag team match, it's now a fatal 4-way between 4 different drivers from 4 different teams. So again, round 2. Let's get ready to rumble, Jack.
So we got one more lap while we're under this caution. I just want to point out for the next round of the International IndyCar League, we will be live and direct to you once again next week. This time, same place for the International IndyCar League. Round 7 will be live from Daytona International Speedway. That will be when we are next live, although the drivers will have to deal with circuit to Spa-Francorchamps. So we're going back to Europe for a one-time visit to a road course, and then we'll be back live on the Velocity Online Racing YouTube channel for coverage of the Daytona International Speedway, and I think it's going to be one you don't want to miss. Races are held Sundays 9:30 Eastern Time. That is around 2 in the afternoon if you are in Central Europe. And really, if this is a banger, I think you're really not going to want to miss that one. And, just so you don't miss it, if you would help us out here at Velocity Online Racing and do all the good stuff, press the subscribe and all of the post notifications, all the bells and whistles, all the lovely sound effects that all these YouTubers tell you to do these days, if you could do the same for us, that would be absolutely fantastic. But now, if we focus back on the task at hand, we have got 6 to go on this time by. We're going to go green this lap. We have Liam O'Sullivan, Ryan Bowles, and then in 3rd place we have Brad Stanley, who really has sort of come out of nowhere in this race. I mean, He's in fourth, and we haven't mentioned him too much today, and he could be on for a very good result, but the focus we are on at the moment is O'Sullivan versus Strauss as he hits the floor. As we come to 5 to go, the dogfight starts now.
Yep. And this will be very interesting. Probably this is where Matthias does all the one-shots when he's really full back, has the most effect of the draft, and now he needs to use it efficiently. We see that Liam will not drop higher from his high lane. He will not go higher. So you gotta find a way to get past him on the outside. It's not an easy task. So let's see. Maybe save a bit of hybrid in 3 and 4, trying to go past him. This will be very interesting, Jack.
This is 4 to go. O'Sullivan sticking to the inside line. Like you said, Strauss is really going to have one proper go at this. We haven't mentioned too much of the hybrid. It's a tool that the drivers have said doesn't really help too much, but can it make the difference this evening? We see Matthias Strauss hot on the heels of Liam O'Sullivan. The gap is about as wide as the palm of your hand. They go side by side into turn number 1. Strauss to the outside line. Liam to the inside line. We have Bowles in the 25. We're going to go almost 3 wide on the exit of turn 2. This is going to be an incredible finish yet again at Texas Motor Speedway. The first time the International IndyCar League has gone to this configuration and this modern layout of Texas Motor Speedway, and boy is it going to deliver.
Yeah, Matthias throwing like Logano blocks on balls, like that was very scary to see.
It's getting to crunch time. This is where the elbows need to be sharpened. This is where you need to find the gaps. You need to go for the opportunities. You need to take everything you've got, everything that's left in the tank, in the energy store, in the tires, in the weight jacket, in you yourself as the driver. This is where you need to use it. White flag. Into turn number 1. We've got Strauss to the outside line. Liam's going to hold the inside. It's going to be Bowles who's looking to try and take second place away from the number 28. Into turn 3 for the final time, Seb.
Yeah, and he's got Liam. He's got it. There's no way they can catch him and overtake him before the start finish line. What a race.
Here comes Strauss across the line.
Oh!
0.03 of a second. Liam O'Sullivan wins on debut in the International IndyCar League on a race that really had a million different alternative stories. What a race. We saw Liam qualify on pole. He had the speed over 1 lap. The question was, can he deliver over 190 miles, leading 39 laps today? He was in one of the big cautions at the start of the race, counting his lucky stars, 9 lives like a cat as he makes his way to the start finish line for no doubtably some celebratory and well-earned donuts.
Yeah, and Jack, we've seen it all day. No one could pass him because he could. It's almost like 2000s IndyCar race, if you know what I mean, where like if you just stick to that bottom lane, they're really struggling to get the run on the outside of you, and that's what Liam did today, and that was great driving and great determination because not a lot of people would have given up after being involved in that wreck.
100%. This is a brilliant shot. Look at this on your screen. From the helmet of our race winner, doing the donuts, facing his crew on the pit wall. My word. Liam O'Sullivan, you can pat yourself on the back today, sunshine, coming back through the pack after trying to avoid, surviving 2 big late race cautions to take the win. A calm head on calm shoulders took the win today. Matthias Strauss, he just came up a little bit too short, as these are your provisional race results here today. Round 5, Texas, the Texas 190. Liam O'Sullivan takes the win from Matthias Strauss in second. The only Honda on the podium for today, Ryan Bowles in the second of the Chevys, followed by Dan Ench in the 52. Another strong result for him, regardless of his late race accident involvement in the caution. Brad Stanley in the 277, he sort of snuck up through the field today. Very good result from him. We didn't talk about him too much. And Jason Lowe in the 004. What could have been today, my friend? You were an absolute star on pace, but unfortunately getting caught up and not going the way of him so far today. And David Strid in the 48, again caught up in the caution, could have potentially been another contender here for the win. Rick Lovison 8th, Rhoda Neftink 9th, and again run out of luck today. Could have been a very strong contender. And Matthias Marcamini rounds out the top 10. 11th is the 999 of Mike West, followed by Richard Kilber. Again, if I'm pronouncing that wrong, please do correct me. And Manuel Esteban rounds out our 13-strong field today in the 99 Honda. Well then, Seb, what do you think after that incredible race? I mean, 190 miles, it was short, it was quick, and it was action-packed. What are your thoughts?
It was very entertaining to watch, seeing all these cars with all those different lanes. Still some strategy variety, actually, despite being a 55% tank. A bit of game changes with those two cautions, but very entertaining to commentate. And I think, like, for the people watching, I think they got what their money was worth. So, great race.
And with that out of the way, we are going to bring our race winner for today into the commentary booth. This is Liam, your winner today, and Seb, I believe that it should be your duty to quiz our race winner on today's fantastic race.
Well, Liam, this is Sebastian Kim there in the commentary booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, man, it was an up and down race for you, and back up again. Tell me about it. Like, you got crashed. You got involved that crash in like the middle of the race, and then you had to team up with Matthias to get ahead from this pack. And it's another caution comes up and saves you a day, and you're up for win the race. Like, tell me what was going through your mind during this whole race.
Yeah, I mean, straight away going into it, we have, I don't know the exact percentage we're limited on tanks, but I think it's only 38 litres we're allowed in the tank, which was difficult to manage because you could go 32 laps and save a stop, but I just thought, well, for the amount of cars we had, it was difficult to get the fuel save going. It was possible, but I'm surprised no one went for it. It was easy for me, just run out in front, just use the pace I had, which I think was quite evident when me and Matthias broke away. I think we were about a 10th quicker than the pack behind. I think that's just through 1 and 2, just being more efficient. Yeah, the caution came and I was involved in that crash, obviously. It's, I mean, I think the case Jason called out his pits, but I think he did it in all teams, so not everybody heard. Which Rodin was unaware, I was unaware, and that's what led to the crash. It wasn't just it looks like he was just run over, but we didn't have any communication. He was pitting. It's not his fault, and it's just an iRacing thing through the radio. Whether everyone should have been in all teams or drivers, but it happens. But yeah, obviously I got a bit lucky to get back on the lead lap, and I mean, I thought Matthias had the race won. I was sort of, I was always telling him, like, look, I'm pulling you away. I think you had about 4 seconds, and then yeah, that came and changed everything for us.
And I will ask another question that's more due to your racing lines, because when you were leading, no one could pass you. You were hogging that bottom lane, and no one could pass you on that outside.
Yeah, the person to credit for that one actually is Jesper. The amount of times he smashes everyone in VOR around Texas, like I can't remember the last time someone won at Texas. But the trick in 1 and 2 is you want to get to that bottom earlier than you expect, and it just sticks. It's really difficult to get it to stick. Oh. You can almost like trail the brake in a little as well, and it as soon as you feel it grip, you can just. It's you know when you've hit the perfect marker in it, and I think just not everyone else. I made the classic. I mean, Matthias just couldn't enter the corner that low. I don't think, which is how I got the move done. I think he knew he couldn't beat me on the bottom, so I was trying to lift off and get a big run on me. But when he did that, it allowed me to recharge my full battery. So coming out of 4, I could just deploy the whole thing, which just edged me at the line there.
Jack, do you have a question for Liam?
Yeah, one thing I wanted to ask, obviously this is your first appearance and first win on debut with a pole position for the International IndyCar League. Is this something that you're going to be moving on forward with, or is this sort of a one-off thing for you?
We'll see. I mean, I think there's CIS as well on Sundays. There's a few things, and obviously Saturday's always been my racing day, and I like to keep Sundays free at times, just uni-wise. But yeah, I mean, it was fun. It was a good race there, Matthias and Rodin. It's a shame Rodin wasn't there at the end. I think he sped on pit lane. But no, I mean, it's always good to win. I mean, we're on a really positive run of results. And look, the focus is win the JIC Championship and win VOR. I mean, this is a nice extra, nice to have no stress and race and still do well.
before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to say thank you to for today's performance?
Again, yeah, thank you. I mean, the team as well, everybody had a good race going as well. We were strong. Matthias as well, he's a good kind of AD as well during the race. Obviously the running of the league, I know this league's gone on a while, first time I've sort of been involved with it, but overall good racing. Obviously you guys as well for broadcasting it. I mean, hope you had fun too. Hope you had, I mean, I apologise if there was any boring part during the middle of the race. We all kind of sat in line there. And yeah, obviously the great sponsor of our team, Alzheimer's Association, and everything Julian does behind the scenes to allow our team to be successful. And yeah, I hope you guys had fun in the booth too.
Well, that was quite the debut, Liam. I will let you go after that one. Congratulations for your win, pole, and first appearance in the International IndyCar League. That's quite a way to storm onto the scene of this championship. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Liam O'Sullivan, today's race winner. Well then, Seb, what do you make of that? 190 miles. It was short and it was quick, and to be honest, I think it was a lot more action-packed than we sort of hoped for.
Yeah, I mean, I think a good way to sum up it was short and sweet.
Definitely, and if we could get the championship points up, we can have a look at that after 5 rounds of this season number 29 of the International IndyCar League. I believe that because Matthias didn't quite get that win today and lost out to O'Sullivan, he will no longer be tied at the top of the championship, but I could be mistaken. But while we wait for those to come up, this is what's coming up next week. Circuit the Spa-Francorchamps will be the next race, January 25th, 2026. Unfortunately, it will not be broadcasted on the Velocity Online Racing Series. However, if you want to take part in it, if you want to take part in the race yourself, if you liked what you saw tonight, be encouraged to go over to the International IndyCar League Discord server, where you can find all the information that you need to get yourself involved with this fantastic championship. But for ourselves, we will be back live on the 1st of the month, so it'll be already 2 months into 2026, and we will be at the Daytona International Motor Speedway. I believe we may be having a few technical difficulties with getting the championship points up at the moment. So until we can get confirmation that we can grab some of those, whether they are official or unofficial, we will sort of continue to dissect what happened in tonight's amazing race. I mean, like you said, Seb, it was 100% a pack race. I mean, I didn't think it was going to be anywhere near that close, considering the amount of cars that we had in the field.
Yeah, but it's kind of like how, especially fixed setup, IndyCar usually goes by. Maybe like non-iRacing setups, you can have like maybe more less pack racing, but yeah, and as I say, like it doesn't make it like worse. Like it's actually like it can be very, very good. And you see, like it's not just like dumb and like you don't see like bomb drafting like in NASCAR. Like it's actually strategic, and you have to be very smart. So that's why I very much enjoy this kind of racing.
100%. I did too. So unfortunately, we can't get some live points for you viewers at home at the moment. So I would really like you to encourage to follow along with the Velocity Online Racing Series. We have been covering this series along with the Global IndyCar Challenge and the Velocity Online IndyCar Series itself. That can all be found streamed on the Velocity Online Racing YouTube channel. If you could help us out with a subscribe and a follow, whatever you prefer, as well with the post notifications for when the next race is coming around, and you can tune in and join us then. But for now, this this has been round 5 of season 29 for the International IndyCar Racing League. I hope everyone has a fantastic end to their weekend, an amazing Sunday, and Happy New Year for those that are still yet to hear us say that here at Velocity Online Racing Series. And we will see you in 2 weeks' time when we head to the legendary Daytona International Speedway for round 7 on the 1st of February. We'll be live at 2:30, which is 2:30 GMT, which is around 3:30 Central Eastern Time for those of you in Europe. Once again, I've been Jack James, and thank you once again for tuning in to this week's coverage of the International IndyCar League.